So this question is firstly starting to ask you to calculate the length of side BC in this triangle, and we recognise it's a right angle triangle with two lengths given, so it's kind of crying out please use Pythagoras. So we should always sketch out what the Pythagoras rule kind of involves, or theorem rule involves. So we've learnt that the square of the two short side lengths added together equals the length of the long side, the hypotenuse, squared. And always have that kind of picture in your mind so that you can label up where C is properly, because remember the triangles won't always be in a nice orientation. So we can label up now that this is the length of the A and B sides, and that's the C side, and we can see that the length they want is actually this length here. So we can write down 6 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. We work out what that is, so C squared is equal to 72, 36 plus 36, and therefore the length of C is equal to the square root of 72. Now it depends on the question whether you need to work out what that actually is, because square root of 72 is the exact answer, but we can work it out on the calculator as 8.49, so 8.49 centimetres. It then comes to the next part of the question. It says calculate the total surface area of this prism. Now what you've got to realise is the surface area is all the faces of this prism, the 5 faces. We work out the area of each face and add them together, and that will give you the total surface area. The surface being what you can physically touch as you go around the shape. You could imagine it's what if you dipped into a pot of paint, it's what would come out with paint on it. So it's the surface that gets covered. Because we need this length here, it was convenient that part A of the question got us to work this out. I'm going to leave it as the root of 72 though, because that was the exact answer, not the rounded answer, and then we can work through all the different shapes. So we recognise that this prism then can be broken up into 2 triangles, 1 at each end, and then 3 rectangles. Doesn't matter about the size of these rectangles, it's not to scale, it's just to remind yourself we need to work out these 5 areas, and then we're going to add up the area of each of them. So we need the area of each. So for a triangle we should write down the formula again, so we're always clear on what the letters are that we need. So we need a base length, which in this case is 6, and we need a perpendicular height, which in this case is also 6. So the area of the triangle we can see is 6 times 6 halved, so that's going to be 18 square centimetres. So we know straight away that's going to be 18, and that's going to be 18 because they're both the same. We take the bottom rectangle here, we can see that it's got a length of a width of 6 and a length of 10, and the area of a rectangle, the length times the perpendicular height. So this has got an area of 60. The back rectangle at the back, so the one at the back there, that's also got a length of 10 and a height of 6. So that again is going to be 60. So we've had 2 18s for the triangles, and then 2 60s for the bottom rectangle and the side rectangle, and then we've got this sloping rectangle. So that has a width of the root of 72 and a length of 10. So to work its area out, we're going to do 10 times the root of 72, and when we do that on the calculator and do it to 1 decimal place, then we get 84.9. And the total surface area then is adding all those numbers together. So 36, 96, 156, 160, 240, 240.9. So 240.9. And again, as always, be careful with the correct units. We're talking about area, 2 dimensions. We're multiplying 1 length by 1 length to get areas, and therefore we've got 2 dimensions, so the units will be square centimetres, power 2. Square centimetres, 2 dimensions. So that's how we can do a little bit of Pythagoras mixed in with surface area. Not too bad, just draw out your different faces, write down formulas when they're needed, find your numbers to fit into the formulas, and then use them. Total surface area, add them all up, and remember to be careful with the units at the end. Area, square units, 2 dimensions.